Who cares about you? Who cares if you exist? Who cares if you succeed? Who are the people out there saying, right on when you do well? And do you have those people in your life? Because honestly, I think that is the most important thing that any of us can ask for is support in our lives. I know a lot of people who really stand up tall and think that they're tough and think they've got everything figured out. And I've met plenty of people in my day that, carry an arrogance about them that they know what's best, they know what's right. But at the end of the day, when you go home, who gives a shit about you? I have wrestled with this idea in the past. Not just who cares, but do those people matter? Are they friends? Are they family? Are they acquaintances? Do they have any effect on your life? Are they just, I can imagine for a lot of people, it can be difficult to, let's say for a rich person, to distinguish friend from foe or friend from somebody who just wants to, gain some profit from them. And that would be difficult. I can't imagine being the kind of person who has money and having to honestly figure out if people care about me. But as a human being who has basically nothing, who is broke, more or less, I know that my friends are friends, true friends. They don't want anything from me other than companionship because that's about all I've got to offer. And that to me is divine. That is religiously like beautiful. Like having true friends, and I only have a few, mind you. I only have a few true friends, and I might not treat those friends the best way I can. I want to do better. I've got I've got, let's say, 3 or 4 different friends. If I guess I have about, well, it's hard because when you say friends, you don't want to make a video on YouTube saying, "Oh, I only have this many friends," and have your other friends out there going counting, going, "Wait a minute, am I one of those friends?" Um, I'd say I have about 4 good friends, and I used to have 5 or 6, but people come and go. Um, Besides my wife, I have like 3 really good friends, and I might not spend as much time as I should with some of them. I might not have always been there for them, but if they need me for something, if one of those friends calls me and says, "Man, I really need your help," I will fucking be there in a second. And that's the same I would expect from those friends to me. I feel like to make a friend, a true friend, I have to be able to say, if I called upon this person for emotional support, would that be available? And let me say that that is much more difficult than a person may first assume. Finding a person who has any interest whatsoever in giving emotional support is very difficult. Even family members can be very, very bad at giving real emotional support and understanding, even if they might think that they understand. Therefore, and it's funny because one of the most emotionally, or I should say, there's like between, depending on where you look, different theories. There's 7 to 10 different forms of intelligence. And one of those is emotional intelligence, which is considered to be the most important to all of our philosophic needs. And emotional intelligence is being able to understand when you feel a certain way and acknowledge that, but also realizing when another person feels a certain way and be able to acknowledge that. But more than this, be able to utilize your resources that you've learned in your life to better the situation, to be able to help people. It's counselor mentality, if you will, to be able to help people out when they ask for it. Unfortunately, a lot of people, even when they need help, they will never ask for it. They will never even step up to the plate and say, "Hey, I have a problem," or "I feel a certain way." There are people I know in my life who are emotionally complete shutouts, totally dead. And that makes it really hard to have a real conversation with people. And so, therefore, I'm grateful to, you can't pick your family, but you can pick your friends kind of thing. You can't always pick your friends either. And it's like the people we grew up with. Some of these people I haven't seen in years, but I still have a bond with because I grew up with. Like my friend Mike, I haven't seen him in a long time. For all I know, he still watches my channel, but I haven't seen him in like 5 years. He disappeared. And but friends are important, and I care about these people, even though I haven't seen them in a while because I know their hearts. It's the same way I feel about, like, I have a good friend of mine, like a really good friend of mine, who lost another good friend. I'm not going to give names here, but apparently this other good friend is very left wing in his thinking, and my friend is a little more right wing, but he's very open, and we're really good friends. And his other buddy just basically detached and disconnected and refused to talk to him anymore because of his political views during the Trump era. And I thought about this a lot because I know how much it bothers him. He is a person who, it's funny because the irony here is that he's right. He leans right because of what he's learned, but he's an extremely emotional and aware person. And his friend, I don't know, what his emotional state is, but, he might be the shutout. The point being that it doesn't matter what political persuasion is you are, or whether you're left or right, whether you're religious or non-religious, none of that shit matters. When it comes down to friends, it doesn't matter what you believe, what you think, or what your political views are. It should be about how do we connect emotionally to one another, and how do we benefit one another in a way that we both walk away feeling good. And this is an important factor. This is something that came up the other day that I wanted to point out. I don't recall where I was listening, but somebody said a relationship, a friendship should be, or a family member, or whoever it might be, should be 1 + 1 = 3. I thought that was a great way to put it. That means that when two people are together, they're both benefiting from each other's knowledge and awareness. But unfortunately, we have people in our lives that are so completely ignorant and blind to actual normal discourse and discussion that they're unable to do that. And I've had plenty of people on my channel who have left comments that were just so rude. But instead of answering with, "Hey, fuck you, man," I said something like, "Hey, well, why do you feel that way?" By the end, the guy's like, "Hey, man, you've got a new sub because I appreciate that you took the time to talk to me." And we ended up being friends. I've got plenty of subscribers. Some of you, I'm sure, who are extremely right-wing, and some of you who are probably left-wing. None of that shit matters to me. What matters is, do you give a shit about other people and the world around you? Like, even more important than individual people, I want to encounter and meet people who respect nature. Like, it's kind of weird to me because a lot of folks would think what's most important is to respect all people's views, but I don't really buy into that. Some views are bullshit. What I do respect is people who can walk out into a freshly melted snow patch and look at the fresh flowers and go, "Wow, this is amazing." Because if you look at nature for what it is, and you spend time out there, you gain a respect for existence that you cannot get anywhere else. You can't learn it from people. You can't learn it from books. You can't learn it from computer, that's for sure. You have to get out there and actually experience life. And when you get out and you do things, when you go out to the woods and just sit, like earlier today, I took my son out to go camping. It was kind of a nightmare because we ended up coming back, so here I am. We drove like a couple hours way out to this place where we usually camp to go shooting and just kind of have a big fire and father-son time. We got like halfway down the road we usually go down and it was packed with snow. And mind you, I drive a school bus. So here I am in my school bus cruising down this snowy thing, like bumping around side to side like, oh shit, I'm going to be screwed if I try to get out of here. Eventually I had to stop somewhere. I used my camper wisdom and pulled over in the first clear spot I saw. And then I saw a ranger guy come by, and I stopped him and I said, "Hey, what's up down there?" He's like, "Oh, there's a tree down like a half mile down there. There's nowhere to turn around." And so, we sat there for a minute and kind of pondered existence, and let the dog run around. And it was one of those moments where we're just out there. My son, my dog, I, nature, the bus, snow, silence, just. And it was awkward because nobody's used to that anymore. Everybody is so intense. Everybody is always waiting for the next fix, whatever it might be, that it's hard to walk away from these things. So, at any rate, I guess this was a ramble about friendship, about people. I want to have faith in people, but I have a very limited capacity for bullshit. I want people to be straightforward with me. And if they're not, then I just kind of walk away from it. But I know that that's not easy in today's world. So, anyway, be honest with your emotions, be honest with yourself, be honest with how you feel. You're going to be much happier. And those are my thoughts. Computer keeps turning off, and I get these like flashes of light. At any rate, I'll talk to y'all next time. Thanks for listening. Peace out. Be well. And if you want to subscribe. If you want to support the channel, please join my Patreon. For even $1 a month, I throw extra videos on there. And yeah, raw thoughts. Peace out. Yeah, I said hit the stop button, damn it.